All right. Hey, we're back. I have another special guest today from our Element Church staff. His name is Rick Sandvig, and he is our Buildings and Properties Director. Rick, tell us a little about yourself and what is Buildings and Properties at Element Church?
A little bit about myself. Been a Christian for 40 plus years. I've been involved in volunteering for over 37 years of that. I kind of been a Mountain Dew commercial, been there, done that, got a whole bunch of t-shirts. And so volunteering's always been important to me, and showing up's the big thing. As far as who I am as a person, married, have 10 children and 8 grandchildren. Buildings and properties. What is buildings and properties? There's actually 3 facets of buildings and properties. The first is facilities. We have over 220,000 square feet that we have to keep clean and ready to go and ready for people to attend. During COVID, it's more of sanitizing, making sure that's all ready. Second part of buildings and properties is the maintenance, routine maintenance of sinks to lights to HVAC units, anything mechanical that's not part of the production team. And the third part of what buildings and property is construction. And with the great executive team that we have, they always have ideas, they always have things going on. And so construction is a huge part of it, and just try to keep up with all of their dreams and imagination and put them into practical application.
That's awesome, Rick. You know, your area is, let me say it like this, the team of your area is often the most unnoticed because they're in the background, they're making everything happen, but yet your area is one of the most important, because I guarantee you, with it being 20 degrees this morning when I came into the office, if it was 20 degrees Sunday morning when we were having church, people would notice right away if the heat wasn't working. Yeah. And so you guys really do make everything work at our physical locations, behind the scenes. And so it's such an important, but often, forgotten about ministry. And it really is a ministry. And I don't want to say forgotten about because it's not in a bad way, but because you guys are so good at what you do, people don't notice what you do, which is a good thing, you know? How did you get involved with buildings and properties in the first place, and what led you to be the director?
There are 2 types of personalities. There is the builder and there is the maintainer. I am not a maintainer, but I love to build. I love to help in the creative process and put other people's visions into a practical thing. And I love working with volunteer teams. So we meet every Tuesday, and there's over 25 people that are on our team. And it's because of the volunteers that we are able to keep ahead of the ideas. Well, almost keep ahead.
Yeah, no, you guys do a really good job though, and your team is incredible. It's pretty awesome to see how you've assembled craftsmen that are in the church.
But we also take people that are untalented too, and they don't have to have any skill level. It's just a group of people that come together, and if they want to learn, we're able to teach them.
That's so good, man. I want to go back to something you said a little bit ago on the personal side, and I don't want to just breeze past it. 8 kids, 10 grandkids, right? Wow.
There's actually 10 kids and 8 grandkids.
10, I had it backwards. 10 kids, 8 grandkids. And it's crazy because so Rick, we've known each other for a long, long time, because when our daughters were young, they were in dance class together. And
did a wedding together.
And did a wedding together. That's right. So my oldest daughter, she's 22 at the time of this recording. And I think it was when she was 5 years old, they were in dance class together. And so a lot has changed since then, but that's how far back we go. And what a treat it's been to work alongside of you now, all these years later, you're getting to do ministry. So tell us a little bit about your favorite part of the ministry that you get to oversee. Do you have a favorite part?
Oh yeah, I definitely do. It's construction and getting things built and taking other people's imaginations, the executive team's imagination, and making it work and putting it together, and then just assembling teams and working with teams and volunteers Like I said earlier, I volunteered for 37 years before I came into full-time ministry, and they hired me in the buildings and property area as part-time seasonal. And that constituted 62 and a half hours some weeks as we did St. Charles Project and put that on the ground.
Right on, man.
Part-time seasonal.
That's right. Your first project as a part-time person. Go build a campus for us.
Yep.
But that's the caliber of person you are, man. You're just incredible. And, you remind me a lot of my favorite Bible character, actually, is one of probably the least known. It's a fellow by the name of Bezalel from Exodus. You can find him in Exodus chapter 32. And he truly was the first craftsman for the church. Back then their church was a tabernacle, it was a tent, but God chose him to do
Yeah.
things that were incredible, and that's who you are. He also chose Bezalel because he was a leader and he could develop others, and we see that in you too. But take us back to your early walk with Jesus. How did you come to know Christ?
The biggest part was I was dating my first wife before she passed away. So we were married for 26 years, but her brother was living in Iowa, and the whole family moved from Iowa to Mexico, Missouri. And so I said, I know about Jesus. I know there's more, but I don't quite know what it is. And so her youngest brother basically stayed in Iowa because he had a girlfriend and it wasn't working out. And so he called up his dad and he said, "Dad, I've sinned against you and I've sinned against God. Can I come home?" And his dad said, "Come on home, son." That night he died in a car accident.
Oh,
And
wow.
so going back to the funeral, there was a couple more questions that I had about salvation. And so my father-in-law and I just went through the whole salvation plan, talked about the different parts of it. And he really unloaded his heart, just how hard it was losing a son that was only 20 years old and just the whole process of that. And so I was on a bus from Columbia, Missouri to Beeville, Texas. And I prayed almost that entire 24 hours. And so crying and confessing and different things. And God revealed to me, my dad left when I was 5 years old. And he revealed to me, you have to forgive your
Mm.
earthly father before I can forgive you. And it was just in a conversation, dialogue, prayer, just felt a inner stirring. And so I finally let go of it and release. And it felt like thousands of pounds lifted off of my shoulder. I didn't even realize that I held that grudge against him.
Wow.
And when I got off the bus, I was radically saved. And all the people that I worked with, they called me Space, and they said, "Space, you really flipped out now."
Wow. Man, that's a really, really awesome story, man, because God speaks to us in so many different unique ways. And here you are on a bus from Missouri to Texas, and you have this incredible encounter with God. That's amazing, man. Thank you so much for sharing that, just being open about that. What keeps Rick Sandvik busy outside of church? What do you have things? Obviously, you have a big family, but what
I
are
have a
some
big
things you like to
family.
do?
So like Thanksgiving and Christmas time, there's 40 of us that get together. So those are always wonderful times. But as far as having an outside ambition, I love to work with wood. I love to build. I have no time for that though, because I'm too busy, and I have to actually monitor not working too much and make sure that my family stays up there as a high priority.
Right on, man. That's so good and good advice for all of those out there like myself who like to stay busy. And sometimes rest and family gets put on the back burner, but it's super important. Um, you
Wives
know,
are a
re-
good thing to help that out too, because
yes.
wife had a saying that she said, "Well, if I want to see Rick with his eyes open, I just go to church."
Mm.
And so that's when I say, okay, I'm working too much. I'm not making her the high priority that she needs to be, and so I have to constantly struggle balancing that out to make sure that that's happening.
Man, that's wisdom right there. That's words of wisdom. Rick. during this time, and we're recording this in the holiday season. This is right before Christmas. We may not post this until after Christmas, but during this whole time of the holiday season and winter time in general, there's a lot of people that are going through tough times, stressful times. People are hurting, especially when they don't have loved ones with them anymore that used to be here. And then couple all that with everything we've been through in 2020, COVID, and just the quarantine. Rick, I know a lot more of your personal story, and I know that you've overcome a lot. What advice can you give to people that are going through really stressful and hurting times right now?
Take their eyes off of themselves and start focusing on others. It's really amazing that your situation, it doesn't go away. It's not eliminated, but your perspective changes because you're helping someone out. And just show up and be there for people is, I think, one of the most critical things. And so you're not dwelling on yourself so much and joining in into a pity party.
Man, that's good. That's really golden, man. Any other encouragement or words of wisdom you can give people right now?
Well, I'll always put in a plug, a little selfless little plug for the buildings and properties. We meet every Tuesday night, and people just show up when they can. But getting that group together and seeing everybody's got a story, everybody's got things going on, but they come together as a group and pray for each other, talk to each other, help encourage each other. And that's just the whole key, is just volunteering and showing up and putting in the time.
That's so good. I concur, man. I know that when I was going through dark seasons in my life, seasons where I was really hurting. That I would come and serve at the church. I would even serve outside of the area that I was gifted in. I've always been involved with worship and production in the arts. That's where I first started. In ministry, serving, and when I became full time. But I would come and help set things up for the weekend with the kids department in different areas. I built a camaraderie with the other people I was serving and they really became my family, my church family. And I would look forward to seeing them every week, because it gave me something to look forward to. So that's such good advice, man. Thank you for sharing that. Well, hey, we got some rapid fire bonus questions. Are you ready
Okay,
for those?
I
All
am.
right, here we go. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Right on. Early riser or night owl?
Very much late night. And my wife is the exact opposite. So she is perky and ready to go first thing in the morning, and I'm not. I got this, oh, how are you doing? Gruff voice and grumble and grunt in the morning. And yeah,
Do you have a current favorite show?
I am watching the series The Chosen,
Hmm.
and it just is really fascinating. They take liberties of the characters that are in the Bible and give a lot more of the backdrop of who they were, the struggles that they go through, and just how Jesus affected their life. And so I'm really enjoying that series.
I've heard it's good. I haven't seen it yet. I need to check it out. Besides the Bible, do you have a favorite book?
There's a lot of them. Love and Respect is a great one for marriage and the different things in marriage. Also, going through this little thing right here called The Four Habits of a Joy-Filled Marriage. That one is really good. I've got Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. That one's another Stephen Covey. So there's a lot of good reads out there.
Right on, man. And if you could meet anybody, past or present, who would it be and why?
Well, Jesus, of course, that would be the number one thing, just to sit and listen at his feet. And that would be the first one. If you're talking about someone alive now, it would be President Trump.
Right on. All right. Well, Rick, thank you so much for your time, man. Just kind of giving us a peek into the life of Rick Sandvig. We really do appreciate all that you do, man. If people want to get connected to you and the buildings and properties team at Element Church, what's the best way to do that? Do you have an email or what's the people do?
Email is ricks@elementchurch.com. But even better than that is showing up on Tuesday nights from 5 to 9. And usually the children's entrance or the east entrance is open and available. we feed you and we have a good time sharing with each other, but we're also getting projects done. So showing up on Tuesday nights, starting the first of the year,
And
is
that's at the Wentzville campus, right?
that is at the Wentzville campus, and we're also trying to organize one at the St. Charles campus too. So we're
Excellent.
starting to get a Facebook page and show the different projects and where we are, and we're still in the stages of the planning stages of getting a key volunteer to kind of run that group.
That's exciting. Very cool, man. Thank you again so much for your time, Rick, and have a great Christmas, okay?
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you.